Hey guys, welcome back to the GM's table. Before we get started, I want to remind everybody to like, share, subscribe, do all that great YouTube stuff. And if you want to help support the channel even more, down the doobly-doo below, there's a link to the Patreon where you'll get videos early, PDFs, all that kind of great stuff based on tiers. I'm not going to really go into it. Anyways, this should be a fairly quick video. I've kind of covered this before, but I feel it needs its own video because it gets overlooked. I want to remind everybody that Flash Gordon is not Savage Worlds Black. They have said the rules changes in Flash Gordons will give you a peek at the route they're going in Savage Worlds Black, but those rules aren't even finished, let alone those being the rules they're going to be. And I want to cover a few things in particular. First and foremost, the athletics is going to lump all this together. There is a very slim chance that's still the case, but here's the thing. Flash Gordon was also a litmus test. They flat out said, depending on how people react to this, will determine Savage Worlds Black. Too many people hated athletics being lumped together. Unless the black rules have a much higher emphasis on skill specialization and like really showcase that setting rule, don't expect it. Don't expect athletics to be this one super skill. Because what's funny is a lot of people are still pointing out, they're like, well, I don't get it. I mean, in a game like Flash Gordon, it makes total sense. But what about in all these other genres? It's not in all these other genres. It's in Flash Gordon. You need to remember that. This isn't the Savage Worlds Black book. The other big one I really, really want to point out is the creative combat table. This is one I have already talked about, but I really want to point out everybody who's like, well, but this, I don't like this. This is going to be in all these genres. Again, it works in Flash Gordon, but I don't think it's going to work in other genres. It's in the setting rules section. It's not even in the new core rules, okay? The creative combat table is a setting rule. And if you look at the creative combat table, now in the core rules it does say, if they get a raise, refer to the creative combat table, because they don't want to confuse people. But that's in the setting rule. In the creative combat table, one of the outcomes is shaken as usual. The usual will be shaken. Raise on a test of will or a trick is going to be shaken. That's it. Keeping it simple. I also want to, just for a little bit, we already talked about the conditions. Everybody's like, I hate conditions. Da, da, da. Typically, I have seen once people see it explained, they realize, oh, it's not this. Yes, they've called them conditions because that's what they are. I see a lot of people who are going, if they're adding conditions to black, it's going to be awful. They're not D&D conditions. They're codifying and naming conditions that were already in the game. The only real big change is -2 parry looks like it's becoming vulnerable, which is +2 to all actions. This is a better move. Because here's the thing. -2 parry means someone can run out and wild attack just beating down someone in an open field. And they're no easier to hit with a pistol than if they were just standing still in an open field. Okay? Vulnerable means a character is easier to hit for range targets. It's no longer melee exclusive. They're easier to trick. They're easier for test of wills. It's a much more broad thing. It also means those setups for tricks and test of wills don't only set up melee attacks, which is a small problem. It's one of those you don't really notice till you realize, oh yeah, this could actually be a lot more fluid and a lot better. So with that, it's actually just a better change. Now, some things we don't know for sure they're going to keep. I do expect knowledge to stay the same. And weirdly enough, I've seen people when they're talking about athletics as a super skill, they're like, knowledge was a super skill. Knowledge has never been one skill that covers everything. Knowledge is a skill category, and then you were supposed to write your own knowledges, and each knowledge was a skill. Now they have a list of knowledges. I do foresee this coming. I don't know how many are going to be considered core, because like occult might become a setting skill because not every setting has occult. But I really like this. This is going to make setting skill lists much easier. I mean, that's really the only big difference, though, is just an overall remembering that this isn't the black rules, guys. I definitely can see wanting to convert and try this. I would say try out those new test of will and tricks like setup. I think for the most part that's what's going to happen. I do anticipate it getting tweaked or edges getting rewritten to work with it. Because even though people are saying, oh, but you can raise skills above the attribute, so that's why taunt and intimidate still work. Taunt and intimidate, by the rules, only work with tricks and test of wills, and now anything can do a trick or test of will. So the fact that they're a skill doesn't matter. The +2 that you can do for if you get strong-willed, first of all, that's a heavy, heavy tax if it's the case. I do anticipate that all getting rewritten to better fit these rules. Okay, I definitely think tricks and test of wills are going to get tweaked a little more. Just I foresee it. And again, this was mostly a reminder that this isn't black, guys. This, like, if you want to convert your characters towards these rules, that's fine, but prepare to convert them again in a few months when black comes out, because this isn't the finalized rules. If you don't like athletics and you're really scared that's where it's going, I highly doubt this is where it's going to land in the end. If you are worried that this creative combat table doesn't fit every genre, well, fine, it's a setting rule. And it's really good for some genres, and that's why it's a setting rule. Will it be a setting rule in the core book? I doubt it, actually. It's a very Flash Gordon-y thing. I would actually love if, like, certain tables and stuff were in the setting rules, too. But we'll see. They have pointed out, first and foremost, we know black's not going to be just $10, but that's also because the book's going to be bigger. So maybe we'll have more material. Anyways, I'll catch you guys next week. Bye. If you like that video, check out another video over here. Whatever it is, it's probably pretty good. Don't forget to like, share so other people can find the channel, and subscribe right up there. YouTube now won't let me put a link to the Patreon, but there is a link down in the description below. So if you want to help support the channel, check that out, and I will catch you guys next time.